Thanks, John.
President Tippleman.
Here.
Vice President Seeley.
Here.
Treasurer McLeod.
Here.
Parliamentarian Hicken.
Here.
Senator Lunsford. Here. Senator Jawad. I got you.
Here.
Senator Jobe.
Here.
Senator Parrish.
Here.
Senator Jacobs.
Here.
Senator Wackler. Oh, just kidding. Senator Schwab. Senator Allure. Senator Hood. Senator Floric.
Here.
Senator Freshour.
Here.
Senator Nagarajan. Senator Shaka. Senator Bell. Here. Senator Method. Senator Sweetland.
Here.
Senator Camarillo.
Here.
Senator Meek.
Here.
Senator Robertson. Senator Romero. Senator Adams.
Here.
Senator Daniel.
Here.
Senator Dukes.
Here.
Senator Farouk.
Here.
Senator Jackson.
Here.
Senator Johnson. Senator Rivera. Senator Catherwood. Senator Golden. Senator Morrison.
Here.
Senator Mosley. Senator Strong.
Here.
Senator Khalifa.
Is there any discussion over last week's minutes? All in favor of approving last week's minutes, say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose? Any abstentions? Is there anyone here for open forum? At this point, we'll go into officer reports. I have had a very busy week since last meeting. I traveled to Austin for the UT Systems Student Advisory Council along with Parliamentarian Hicken. And we went over several things as far as issues that are across the entire system. I'll get into those probably later throughout the year and bring those up as topics. One of the biggest ones was really the CAP program. That was one of the things that stuck out to me as far as how that's being handled by our school and the system. Then, as well as that, I had my monthly meeting with Dr. Tidwell. We went over a lot of very interesting things today. Another issue was what's called the QEP, which is a quality enhancement plan. That has to be done every 10 years, and so that we can be fully accredited. And that will be coming up soon. Y'all will probably receive either like a full email with a survey to go over which topic we want to really address in that QEP. And then that's pretty much all that I've done for the week, is just kind of handle all the meetings that dealt with those and travel. So that's been my week. Are there any questions? Vice President Seeley?
So I know this was a couple weeks ago, but Constitution Day, I heard from Katie Klein about how that went. She was really excited about the success that we had. She was really glad for our participation with her out at Harvey Deck and the response to the chalkboard and also the response to the quiz and the website. She said this is the most visits to the Constitution Day website they've had. So I'm really proud of you guys, and I just want to applaud the work that we did. Dean of Students Owen Tolliver gave me that task in the summer, and she said that in the past, the event and the day itself has been very poorly handled, and that we exceeded her expectations this year. So good job to everyone. Really excited. That went really well. Officially decided on a date for midnight breakfast. That's going to be our next big event. That is a mandatory event. It will be November 7th. That's a Tuesday night. we're coordinating to have this event after a CAB movie night in order to reach more students. Students will be out near the University Center already. That's also in the middle of Veterans Week. So that is a great week to have an event to get students out on campus and get students involved. Are there any questions? That's it.
Secretary McDaniel.
Okay, first things, if after y'all get sworn in, y'all can come see me, but verification forms, come see me if you haven't got one or haven't turned one in, so that I can get that in, so that they can get your stuff accessed and so on and so forth. Second thing, absences. So now that the rules are set, absences are going to be taken very seriously. I need to make sure that y'all are turning them in 48 hours, and make sure please attach schedules. If y'all see that y'all's like constituents are like repeatedly not coming and y'all like know of them, can like reach out to them, please do, because judicial board is going to start getting involved and that's just not fun. And if there's possible for them to zoom in, let them know that that's an option as well. If not, then it's just stressful trying to get the constituents here so that we can be informed. My committee met, but I'll talk more about that in committee reports. So that's all I have.
Treasurer McLeod.
Well, this week I've been working on finalizing and looking over the fall 2017 SGA policy that we voted on last week, so it can be put online ASAP, and that's pretty much all.
Any questions? Parliamentarian Hicken.
I this week was accompanied Preston, President Templeman, to the TSAC. So that was kind of on the forefront of my mind this week. But I don't know how many of y'all here were not here last week, but if you missed the training session, please come see me after so that we can get a makeup one for y'all going. I know we have a couple of I think the Houston campus senators are going to need to be doing it anyway. So if you guys missed it and need to get caught up, come see me and we'll figure out a time that we can all get together to do it. And then I'm just going to briefly go over the new way that we're doing Robert's Rules of Order so that we can start practicing this meeting. We're going to have a motion, which is going to be some kind of action. So we're not going to be motioning to open discussion anymore. It's just going to be a motion to do something. After it's seconded, the floor will be open for discussion, and the original motion maker will be the first person to speak. So if you make the motion, you're the first one to talk about it. After that, amendments, or if it needs to be tabled, that can all be happening during discussion. So if at any point we realize that we need more information or we need to change the motion, that can all be done during discussion. And the way that you would phrase that is a motion to amend the motion, or I move to table the motion until this time. After that, if it doesn't get tabled, then at the end of discussion, after no more hands are being raised, the motion will just come to a vote. Okay? So hopefully it's going to be a pretty easy transition. In my mind, it makes a lot of sense, but I know some of y'all might not, especially if you've been in here before and we've been doing it a different way. But we'll get it going together, and I'll be able to be here and listen and kind of make sure that everybody's doing it right, and yell point of information because that's fun. So that's all I have.
Student voice reports. We'll start with the College of Arts and Sciences.
I think the major complaint I've heard from not just the College of Arts and Sciences, but everyone has been regarding parking, which isn't really a new issue, but they're not
No, Muhammad is on Zoom.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, the only few complaints I got was about parking, and there's no more swooper shuttle. And a lot of people were complaining about that because they carry big books, and they were looking forward to that shuttle.
I don't have any reports, but I also didn't know.
Pharmacy school.
Lots to report. So this is the first year that we have had an entirely full college. We have all 3 classes there. We'll have a 4th class out on rotation next year with 3 new classes as well. So it's an exciting time. With that, we've got growing pains. So biggest complaint there's not much to do about it, but we only have 9 study rooms, and although they're nice, there are over 300-something students in our college now. And so time-wise and availability has been kind of an issue. We do have bigger classrooms, but sometimes people talk in them, so there's not really a lot of quiet studying places. We are working with the class representatives right now to come up with a solution. Right now, we have it set up to where you can reserve the room for up to 2 hours, and that's it. After that, the room is open and available. There were some issues with people being in the rooms and refusing to leave, even though their 2 hours was up. So again, that's being resolved right now. And I believe they're meeting with the dean sometime next week. I think it's Tuesday. I have recently joined the strategic planning committee for the college, which is a great platform for representatives from my school. We're going over where we want the college to go in the future, more community outreach, more involvement with the university. Right now, we're very segregated, and it's even more so with the classes right now. Each class doesn't have a whole lot of interaction with the way our school is set up. And so we're looking at providing more social events, more interacting opportunities for all the different students to help increase networking capabilities for outside of school and once you graduate. So a lot of stuff going on. Bike rack was put in. I still have yet to see the plaque, and so I'm needing to follow up. My question is, who do I need to follow up with regarding the plaque that states that SGA and College Pharmacy funded that bike rack?
I would probably say Jerry Stuff. He's head of facilities.
Okay.
I can do that, or you can take it if you want to.
I don't mind.
Okay.
You got a lot of like stuff. I'll get his contact information from him later. Again, biggest issues, like I said, study rooms, parking is forward this year.
Just to address what you said just a second ago about being more of a part of the university. That was something that we talked a lot about at SAC. So I don't know if that makes you feel any better, but it's not just a problem that we have here. It's a problem throughout the whole university system. So that's definitely something that's going to be addressed as far as like the different programs interacting with each other. So hopefully that by next year there'll be some implementation system wide that can help deal with that.
Awesome. Yeah. One of the ideas that we talked about with strategic planning committee was doing dual degrees, and so partnering with the business building or whatever to have an MBA program coincide with your pharmacy. So if you wanted to open up your own, you would have your MBA degree plus your doctorate of pharmacy as well. I believe some other ideas were that were mentioned that I believe we spoke of last year is more collaboration in that aspect with we've got a great nursing program, we've got a good engineering program, we've got a doctor of pharmacy. We could get an MD program maybe in the future if you wanted to talk to President Tidwell about that. But a collaboration assignment in like your 4th year, your graduate year, before you go out into the world, you can do a research project that combines all 4. So engineering can help, design artificial kidneys or something, but some type of research project that involves all of the colleges. And so it kind of brings everyone together. I thought that would be a really great idea. As far as making the university unique in that aspect. So something that we're talking about in that strategic planning committee. Also something I'm wanting to implement is, I believe y'all mentioned it last year, town hall meetings, like once a month, having all of the students come and just discuss with me, hey, what's going good, what's not. Also that would increase interaction between the different classes as well. So I figured it would be a win-win. I'm working with administrative right now to figure out and start setting dates for those meetings.
Lots of good stuff. Graduate program?
All I've reported is a lot of the graduate students have said that they like different variety of class times. Right now, most of the classes are taking place at night. They said in the future they'd like to see a couple classes during the daytime, not just having classes off just once a year. So it's basically asking for more class time and options.
Committee reports, start with student life.
I'm sad to say I was at tennis last Friday when we were supposed to meet, but I did send my committee out on sort of a project, but I don't think any of them are. You're here. Okay. Okay. But we will meet this Friday and have more to talk about next week because I don't have tennis. So.
Communications.
Okay. My committee met on Monday, and we got a lot done, I think. Okay, so first thing, I want to make sure that everyone after this go on the social medias, just follow our pages on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just make sure at least our constituents within SGA are following them, and then that'll help our growth a little bit. So first thing is in front of you, you have those little tiny baby pieces of paper. We're starting to get t-shirt ideas for Midnight Breakfast and for just a general SGA shirt. So I want to get all of your sizes so that I can get that down. So when we do have a design out, I can just put them in a spreadsheet and just have all that ready. We'll hopefully have a design within like the next week or two, and then get that out and going so that we have a shirt for Midnight Breakfast. So another idea that like me and my committee talked about was pop sockets. Mackenzie, show me that. Because not everyone knows what that is. If you don't know what it is, it's that little thing on the back of the phone. It's a cool new trendy thing that everyone loves. I don't think they're cool, but it's the hot thing right now. So I'm currently in contact with the promotions people for that. He's making it very difficult on me, but I'm figuring it out. I'm trying to do it to where it's like our SGA logo in that little circle, and then we can pass those out. I'm hoping to get them by like midnight breakfast time so we can do them as like prizes, or we'll give them out as like tables, kind of like table ideas. I don't know if y'all saw on the social media, we started a Meet Your Senator Monday, but right now we're doing the EV board, and then we'll go into y'all, so get ready for your picture taken and bios. What else? I think that's it. I think that's it. So make sure that I get those little pieces of paper from y'all back at the end of the meeting. And oh, another thing, I won't, my committee, we will not be meeting on Monday because I have clinicals, so sorry, but we'll figure something out. Oh, that's all.
SGAC?
Okay, well, my committee met last Thursday, and we tabled a request until this week's meeting because we all decided that we needed more information in order to make a proper decision. And so we'll be meeting with the student organization this week, and hopefully I'll be able to update y'all by next meeting.
Roads Committee.
So we met briefly, and we started on the Constitution. We had some really good discussion. We're already starting to make some changes, and then we're going to meet again tomorrow in the same room at 12 o'clock. But yes, last week I got there a little bit early because we have a couple of people on our committee that have class at 12:30. So so if y'all can get there a little bit early, like a little bit before 12, like 11:40-ish, usually the room is open. We can start a little bit early and get some more work done.
Student Affairs.
We didn't have everyone at our meeting this first week, but we did have a few people show up. And it's a pretty good meeting. We mainly talked about what we want from the committee, because Student Affairs is an ad hoc, so it doesn't have a set what we want to do each year. But we threw around what we want to do, and then mainly our committee will be like things that get brought up in here is the student life reports. If there's anything that we feel like we can help address, that's kind of what we want our goal to be. We talked about a few housing issues that have been going on. We have the volleyball court, and I quickly emailed that, and it's closed down just for construction out of the business building. They brought up overflow housing at O Hall and how it's been an issue. I'm still in the process of working on that, just because I work with housing, so it's easy enough for me to get those answers. I know 2 meetings ago, or 1 meeting, we talked about the parking issue and how my committee was gonna kind of work on that. We briefly discussed it and kind of like, what do we think are some of the issues? So we have nothing outstanding to present about that just yet, because we're still working on it. Obviously, it's an ongoing issue. Maggie brought up recycling, and I kind of gave her the rundown on that 2 years ago. So unfortunately, that's not something we really can do about this year. There's a new almost student organization, the President's Court. It's where the presidents and vice presidents of all the student organizations meet and talk about what all the organizations are doing. I was there, Maggie was there, and she brought up, they mentioned something called the Knights as like a campus safety group of people who know what to do when random crises strike PG Tyler, whether it be like a tornado or false alarm active shooters. So we talked about that and like what we'd like to see out of because we think that's a cool idea for campus. So hopefully we'll have some more information on that in the next couple of weeks. That's really it. We just threw around ideas.
At this point, is there any old business? Vice President Seeley.
I want to make sure I say this correctly.
All right, just make a motion.
I'll make a motion to partner with CAB on university form.
Second.
So, if I'm correct.
You say discussion.
Alright.
So you can say
I will-
say it.
It's been motioned and seconded to open discussion.
No.
To,
No.
no,
No.
it's been motioned and seconded to partner with CAB on a university-wide form.
Do you mind if I pull something up on YouTube? Okay. Tonight, no, sorry, okay. I know a couple weeks ago, Andrew Miller from CAB came and presented to us about CAB looking for a partner for the formal that they want to put on. And all of you should have seen this survey. It was on Canvas. They sent it out to students and whatnot. And I got the results back.
Can you share the screen, please?
Everyone's gonna see my email. Oh shoot. Oh, just kidding. Okay. So it should be here. I don't know how it shows. Oh, it shows.
Okay.
Okay. So I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, just go ahead and click downloading. I'll try and zoom in. So I know we talked about how we wanted more information on this, about would students be interested, what are they kind of looking for. And so that survey, I've got the results back, and I just wanted to share that with you guys so that we can vote on whether or not we do actually want to be their partner for this event that they're putting on. So the first question is, if UT Tyler had a campus-wide formal, would you attend? Oh, such a struggle. Okay, and the answer choices were yes, no, and maybe. And then of the 99 people who responded, 67% said yes, they would go, and only 9 people said they would not. The next was kind of like they asked about themes. There was 1, 2, 3, 4 themes, and then other. This French words that I don't know was the winner, but not by like much. So I mean, people are clearly interested in it being something. Let's keep scrolling. There was some comments about masquerade or like a costume. There was lots of input on like food. I don't think there was any sort of consensus, but there was lots of ideas. Lots of ideas. Lots of ideas. People,
Anything but text.
anything with Tex-Mex. Pasta and like finger foods seemed pretty popular. Yeah. Like appetizer type things.
Absolutely certain.
Yeah.
This is a lot longer than I thought.
Yeah, 99 responses. Okay. Yeah. So those were the kind of responses that they got from the CAB survey that they did. I know 99 people isn't a good representation of the school, in my opinion, but I felt that I should share these results with you guys since we decided to table until we had more information.
Parliamentarian Hicken.
So, did Andrew give you any other information on it, or did he just give you the results of the survey?
Vice President Seeley.
Andrew gave me the results of the survey as a way to maybe extend more information on it, because this event is going to happen with or without us. and they don't want to plan or get numbers or find quotes for food or vendors until they know who they're going to be working with, because they don't want to just plan the whole thing and then slap someone's name on it without them being involved in the planning process. So that's why Andrew was unable to give us hard numbers, because they want to work with us on creating those numbers during the planning process so that we feel involved.
Senator Bill.
Did he explain, is it just for students, or would they be able to bring like a spouse or a boyfriend who wasn't a student or girlfriend? Is that anything that we've been told?
I would assume that the normal process for that would be that you are allowed a +1 of your choosing, since it is a formal type event. I don't know how that would necessarily work as far as what we're available to pay for, since now we're adding non-students. So I would have to check with that. I had not thought about that until you mentioned that. So, for instance, we're a student fee run organization. We're supposed to provide services to students. If we start including non-students and community, we have to be very careful just to make sure that we're not misusing funds. I will make sure that whatever the actual policy is, that we follow it if we proceed forward. Senator Freshour.
And just a general reminder to everyone, I feel like money's always a big issue that we're about. Andrew said he needs no money from us. That doesn't really affect us. I think from what I gathered when he came and presented, that was just a matter of physical legwork, help planning, help getting word of mouth. So that's kind of a pro in my mind. I don't think he'll need money unless he changes something, which in that case I would hope he would let us know.
Vice President Seeley.
On that note, Andrew did say that this event is happening with or without us specifically, that he does want to work with us because we are a prominent organization on campus. We have a large membership. Clearly, there's 30 plus of us in this room. And that, any financial contribution we could make is obviously going to be appreciated. They won't turn it away, but they aren't requiring that of their partner in this event. That's not what they're asking for.
Is there some comment? Secretary McDaniel, sorry.
So if there's no financial issues, then what's our main thing stopping us from at least partnering? Is it concerning? Just curious. Like, why is it a debate? I mean, it's not something I would most likely attend, but I'm not saying that like it's not a bad idea. There's no financial role, so.
Parliamentarian Hickens.
Who specifically would be responsible for the planning process? Would it be Sam?
It would depend on what they ask us to be responsible for. For instance, if it is simply event planning, that would fall under Vice President Seeley and Student Life Committee. If it crosses into marketing, it then goes to Secretary McDaniel and her committee. And then anything that we cover financially, if we did cover marketing or if we chipped in for the event process, would go through Treasurer Cloud, but not through this committee. So that would be the extent of who is designated to be in charge of. Vice President Seeley.
In Katie's comment made me think of something. In voting that we do partner with this, and we put our name on it from the get-go, from now to when it actually occurs, which Andrew said most likely will be in January or early February, this will likely be a mandatory event for our attendance. So just keep that in mind, that you may not have to be a part of planning, but you'll most likely have to be in attendance or send an absence form. I'm not saying that for sure, but that's how things of this nature have gone in the past.
Also, as far going back to Parliamentarian Hickens' comment, if the Senate wants to describe in this discussion who is responsible for what. If we want to have a full vote over anything that is decided by the committees, we can do that throughout this discussion. So if, let's say, we wanted to set a maximum amount that we would spend on it, then we could detail that in this discussion when we finally actually vote on it. Or that we allow the Senate to have a final approval before we disperse any funds, or, you know, there's multiple ways to handle that. Senator Freshour.
I personally think what Andrew wants from us is mainly just like, I think they're gonna do a lot of the hard stuff, and it's mainly just using us. Like you mentioned, we have a big platform. Truly, it's just word of mouth. Tell your constituents, tell your friends, blah, blah, blah. Maybe we hang up some flyers, maybe we set up early and we help clean up after. Maybe we need to have Andrew come in one more time after he's sat down with Cav and decided, here's our thing, here's this, and then maybe they might have a better list of tasks for us. But like maybe that's just what we need, is that like, I personally am okay with partnering with them because I think that's what's gonna happen. He's gonna come and be like, okay, here's what we would like some help on, but I really think they're gonna do a lot of the hard work because they know it's their event and we be partnering with them, but they know we are busy doing our own things as well. So I really think it's just, they're gonna have some few things like help setting up, help normal things that you do in planning an event. I don't think we're really going to be asked, like, I don't think Abby and her committee is really gonna be like, okay guys, make a flyer for us. I don't really think that's the goal behind that. It might be, but maybe we could just begin to ask him to come a couple weeks down the road when he's a little farther in his planning process.
Senator Bell.
I would like to amend the motion. So,
Amendment has been made.
motion to table discussion regarding partnership with CAB until he comes back and talks with us when there has been more definite involvement.
So it's been motion and seconded to table the discussion, or to table the motion until Andrew Miller can come and present further planning details. So now we do not vote. Okay. So now the floor is open to you for the discussion of should we table or not.
Point of information. So if you guys all agree that you want to table it, we don't have to discuss anything. So you can just say a quick few words. Then if you guys are good to table it, then nobody has to raise their hand and we can just vote right away. Okay. If you guys do want to discuss tabling it, then we can discuss it. We don't have to.
So I agree with Senator Freshour's reasoning behind having him come back and talk to us. I do not feel we can make a solid decision not knowing what our roles would be in the partnership.
All those in favor of tabling discussion, say aye.
Aye.
Tabling the motions. All those opposed, say nay. All those who abstain. That passes. Motion has been tabled. Is there any other old business? Parliamentarian Hickey.
I move to send President Templeman to the Space Committee to discuss the interfaith room and the daycare.
There's been motion and seconded to send myself to the Space Committee to discuss the interfaith room and the daycare. Parliamentarian.
So For those of you who weren't here for our little recap on some of the issues that we passed or discussed and endorsed or whatever last semester, a couple of those things were the interfaith room and the daycare, both of which were discussed and endorsed by the Senate. And now we are just waiting on the Space Committee to actually carry out those things. The Space Committee is kind of a, kind of ambiguous thing to us. We don't really know. I mean, like, we know who's like responsible and who's on it, but we don't really know, when they're going to meet or when they're going to do anything about the proposals and the things that we've endorsed. So I think it would be, the first step toward actually implementing the things that we do to send President Templeman to the Space Committee to kind of urge them and just talk to them about what we do. And, there's no point in us even doing anything if they can't get implemented. So I think that's our first step in getting those things brought up again and readdressed if we want to actually continue moving forward with those issues.
Vice President Seeley.
I move to amend the motion to send President Templeman to the Space Committee to discuss interfaith room, daycare, and the food pantry.
You are forgetting. Second.
So it has been motioned and seconded to amend the motion to now include the food pantry as well. Vice President Seeley.
It's important to include the food pantry because we did spend Senator project money on purchasing supplies. I see those supplies in UC 3400 literally every day, and there's currently nowhere to put them. That should be on the Space Committee's radar. It's a big deal with Dean of Students Zona Tolliver as well as with us. So I want that to be on their radar, and I hope that this motion gets passed so that those three things get brought up to them and maybe they can get something done.
Senator Freshour.
If this does get passed and you go to the Space Committee, I talked to Chase Ragland about the old Starbucks in the library as a space for the food pantry. That feels like a super good size. We already had food there, so I feel like it must have met some sort of code for food. It's a location that's open a lot of hours. The library is open to 2 a.m. And Chase was really on board for it because I wasn't here when y'all actually made the food pantry, but Chase told me that he was kind of a big advocate for it. So I feel like that's something you could mention to the Space Committee, Preston, about utilizing that space because as of right now, there's still nothing. So I'm all for that area being used as the food pantry.
The last thing that I heard about that space was that Sodexo was going to try and use it. However, according to their code, it was not large enough for what they wanted to do with it. And so they had been arguing with the librarians over whether or not they can move the wall in a little bit to try and create that additional space. And that is where it was hung up at. So I will definitely ask about that, but I don't know if they're going to still reserve that space for that project. Senator Parrish.
So, just so I understand this right, Sodexo does own that part of the building, correct?
No. As far as I understood, Sodexo is the campus food provider, and they work under whatever space we have for them. Is that correct?
Probably pretty close. It may be that that space is in their contract, but we are providing them that space. So no outside entity can own any space on it.
Senator Freshour.
So that means it's dirty. They haven't put anything in it. They've taken it out for quite a bit of time. We're not going to be selling this food, so it's not necessarily a matter of needing size. But as long as we can fit the supplies that you guys bought with it in there, I see no reason not to utilize that space. And if they do come up with some grand idea, then maybe we can reconsider moving it. But I'd rather use the space while we have it and it's not being used because you guys spent senator money on it, and then it's for people who need it. So it's kind of stupid that these things are sitting there and not being used. I would really like you to push that to them. If it's not being used, we're going to use it for the time being.
there is no more discussion at this point, all in favor of sending myself to the Space Committee to address these issues, please say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose say nay. Any of those who abstain? Looks like I'm going. At this point, is there any more new or any old business? For new business, this is not on the agenda, but we do have people here for swear-ins, so I would like to do that first. Do I have-
Yeah, we have that.
So I'd like to entertain a motion to swear in the new senators who are present here at this meeting.
That's not the actual motion. He was entertaining the idea that you guys, someone would make a motion.
Senator Morrison.
He can't make
Motion to
motions.
swear in the new senators.
Second.
There's a motion and second in to swear in the new senators that are present.
I think this is pretty self-explanatory. We need these guys on the Senate. Honestly, hopefully, as they show up more, not to deal with not reaching for them. So that's just what it is.
If there's no other discussion, the motion is to vote to swear in the new senators. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose say nay. Any abstentions? Andres and Sean, if you all join me up here. I know we have one on Zoom as well. Go ahead and raise your right hands and then repeat after me. There are a couple of sections here that have your information. Marley, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
All right. If you'll repeat after me, and there are two sections where you'll input your own information. So, I, insert your name.
I, O'Marley John.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That I shall faithfully represent.
Represent
The interests of the student body.
The interest of the student body.
Yeah. So Marley, I'm going to swear you in afterwards so that I can speak directly towards the mic.
Okay then.
Of the University of Texas at Tyler.
Of the University of Texas at Tyler.
I shall dutifully uphold and preserve.
I shall dutifully uphold and preserve
The Constitution and bylaws.
the Constitution and bylaws
Of the student body.
of the student body
While ardently executing the office of.
while ardently executing the office
And insert your position. Of the Student Government Association.
of the Student Government Association
At the University of Texas at Tyler.
at the University of Texas at Tyler.
Congratulations. Y'all take those seats. All right, Amara, can you hear me better now?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes. If you'll repeat after me. I, insert your name,
I, O'Marley John,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I shall faithfully represent
that I shall faithfully represent
the interests of the student body
the interests of the student body
of the University of Texas at Tyler.
of the University of Texas at Tyler.
I shall dutifully uphold and preserve
I shall dutifully uphold and preserve
the Constitution and bylaws
the Constitution and bylaws
of the student body
of the student body
while ardently executing the office of, and insert your position,
while orderly executing the office of Senator of Houston Campus
of the Student Government Association
of the Student Government Association
at the University of Texas at Tyler.
at the University of Texas at Tyler.
At this point, you are now a full voting member and can participate in discussion. So congratulations. At this point, I'd like to entertain a motion to talk about the fees as that is on the agenda. Parliamentarian Hickey.
Motion for a 5-minute recess.
All right, it's been motioned and seconded to have a 5-minute recess. And all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay.
Nay.
I'm going to call for division. So at this point, instead of saying it, we will raise hands. All right. So all of those who approve, please raise your hand. What's the Zoom count?
So, go ahead, guys. Y'all, do you think? Oh, Marley raised his hand. Well, that's cool.
I'll raise my hand too.
2.
All those who oppose, like sign, please. And all those who abstain. That motion has failed.
So you need to move on or resubmit a new motion.
Parliamentarian Hickey.
Motion for a 5-minute recess.
All right.
A different motion, since you just submitted that one and it failed, so it needs to be a different type of motion.
Parliamentarian Hickey.
Motion for a 3-minute recess.
Second.
Before we all vote on this, I do want to say that, you know, when you're discussing tuition and fees, it is a very important topic. And so I think having to take a break is not a bad idea because if we're going to dive into this topic, we want to make sure that everybody's prepared. And so this is a good time to kind of relax, stretch your legs before y'all jump into this topic.
Okay, so it's been motioned and seconded to now have a 3-minute recess. All those in favor, please raise your hand. All those who oppose, any abstention? So we will have a 3-minute recess. What's the time?
54.
We will reconvene at 6:57. I mean, the only thing that we need is
Abby, just hit pause on the recording.
Tell me the whole situation and I will think about it.
time to discuss. So protocol wise, we will redo roll call, make sure that no one is left, that we still make quorum. So Secretary McDaniel, please commence roll call.
President Zibelman?
Here.
Vice President Seeley?
Here.
Treasurer McLeod?
Here.
Parliamentarian Higgins?
Here.
Senator Lunsford? Here. Senator Jawad.
Here.
Senator Jobe. Here. Senator Parrish. Here. Senator Jacobs. Here. Senator Schwab. Senator Hood. Senator Florick.
Here.
Senator Freshar. Here. Senator Nagarajan.
Okay.
Senator Shaka. Senator Bell. Here. Senator Method. Senator John. Senator Jones. He's here. Okay, cool. Senator Sweetland. Here. Senator Camarillo. Here. Senator Meek. Senator Robertson. Senator Romero. Senator Adams. Here. Senator Daniel. Here. Senator Dukes.
Here.
Senator Farouk.
Here.
Senator Jackson. Here. Senator Johnson. Senator Rivera. Senator Catherwood. Senator Golden. Senator Morrison.
Here.
Senator Mosley. Senator, help me out. Agudello. Okay. Senator Agudello. Senator, nope. Senator Strong. Here. Senator Copeland. Here. Senator Khalifa.
So I'm going to briefly go over what we discussed so that we're all on the same page. We can't open discussion because we have to take an action item. So when anyone makes the motion, we will present it as an action item. That does not necessarily mean that that is the action that we will take. And so it is just the discussion will end or will start after that motion is made.
Point of information. I just want to rephrase that a little bit. If we make a motion to take action and then we subsequently vote to approve that, then that is the action that we will take. But if we motion to do something and then it ends up getting tabled, and that just means that we haven't voted on it yet and it's still out there and we can still discuss it more.
Vice President.
Motion to write referendum on fee increases.
All right. It has been motioned and seconded to write a referendum on student fee increases.
So we met with Dr. Tidwell on Monday. It was last Monday. Talked about fee increases. The only way to increase student fees is through a school-wide referendum. The students vote on this. They say yes or no. And it's part of the precedent is that we write such a referendum because we can assess what students want and don't want. And the idea behind these fees, such as the student service fee, the health and wellness fee, the rec fee, the athletic fee, they support those programs so that we can have rec sports. And there's a budget for the HPC and for the people who work there, for the athletic programs that we are so proud of and are so successful here on campus. Things like campus activities, and our organization is upheld by student fee money, and the health and wellness fee, that's for the University Health Clinic. You can go and see a doctor for free, and things like that. And these fees haven't been rose in a long time. We have some of the lowest fees in the UT system, if not the lowest in many of those categories. So it's been asked of us to talk about it, and we can always vote no later if we decide, no, we don't want to raise fees. So we can vote no, or we can table it and get more information. We just want to kind of put this on your radar because it's really important to enhance the student experience and, give more opportunities to the students here on campus.
Secretary McDaniel.
I will say, if some of you are kind of confused about the situation and kind of want more information, if you look, Tidwell is coming to speak to us on October 4th, next Wednesday. So if you're confused or want more information and don't want to necessarily vote on this today, and we do want to table it, make sure you're here next week because Dr. Tidwell will be here, and you're one person that you need to talk to if this is an issue for you. So I know that maybe a lot of people are confused, and I don't want to just push out there these fees and then we vote on yes or no, and then we're like, well, shoot, why did we do that? So keep that in mind when discussing this topic.
Just in addition to that, this motion is to write the referendum to what's the word? Raise student fees. The referendum would then go to the student body to vote yes or no. So we are not deciding as this little organization whether or not we raise student fees. This is the motion to write the actual referendum that the student body will then vote on and vote yes or no to actually raise the fees.
Senator Bill.
Do we have an idea of how much they're going to raise them and for what purposes?
I will address that. The answer is twofold. It's a yes and no. It depends on which fee, and it also depends on certain legal issues. For instance, the rec sports fee, it's not fully clear whether or not that's a legislative fee, and therefore only the legislature of the state can amend that documentation. So if it becomes one of those, then they have to raise that fee, not us. So if we were to discuss the rec sports fee, we would have to be clear of that before. Then there's also issues with fees having they're rated per credit hour, but there's a cap. So can we raise the dollar amount, or are we raising the cap? So these are all issues that would have to be taken seriously into consideration when or if we pursue this as an avenue of something that we wanted to do. Senator Freshour.
Refresh me on specifically what a referendum is again. Is it essentially like 2 years ago we sent out that survey and it listed everything out? Basically what that is.
This would be something that we would say this is something that we support, and now the students are going to vote on it. So it's twofold. We would put that on our ballot, and then the students would approve or deny or they would vote on how they feel on it. So that means that it's an actual true student vote. Senator Dukes.
In this referendum, is there any way we can stop the double dipping that's going on between funds? Because I know like certain funds, they have funds allocated to like rec sports and funds allocated to the sports in general on campus, and they're going into the student service fee. Is there any way we can like stop that from happening and just like raise their fees instead? Make sure like they're getting the fees they need.
Vice President Sealy.
We talked about that somewhat, and it's not wholly possible to raise the rec fee and the athletic fee where they support themselves on their own, but we can prop them up significantly so that we can go back and look at the student fee advisory committee and look at their request that had to be denied because there just wasn't enough money, and increase the ability to give out money in that way. Am I phrasing this right, Dr. Patterson? You were there. You're the one who talked about this. I'm so sorry. I'm trying to.
Athletic fee, the rec center fee hasn't been raised for 13 years. It is the lowest in the state by almost 50%. The athletic fee hasn't been raised for about 6 years. And so to answer the question, can you raise those fees so that they don't have to double dip? The answer is yes. But you have to, students would have to vote to raise those fees independently of the student service. Does that make sense?
Let me ask you one more question. If we were to phrase it as such, would that mean that we would also have to have a pretty good figure of, we would have to cover the entire athletic budget? We would have to raise it enough to do that? Is that what we're saying?
You could cover it for this year, but if athletics does go to Division II, you'd never be able to cover it. It's too much money.
Yeah, that's what I was trying.
So there'd have to be supplemental funds from the university and not from the fee account. It would have to be from the president's general account. Okay. And it's very common across the state. In fact, I don't know of a school that doesn't double dip.
Vice President Sealy.
But it is correct that we can raise that other fees and even raise the student service fee where the double dipping wouldn't be like an issue. Like we could make it less so. Is that what I'm understanding?
That would be my goal, is to not
Okay.
have either account dip in there.
Okay.
Senator Freshour.
So what specific fees, I guess we briefly mentioned that some we can't do, so what specific fees are we going to be putting on this referendum again?
Vice President Seeley.
We were encouraged by President Tidwell to focus on the student service fee, the rec fee, the athletic fee, and the health and wellness center fee. There are other fees that we could raise if we so choose. I don't know the full list, but those were the ones that Dr. Tidwell encouraged us to focus on. But like we said, y'all, we as a Senate, we as an organization have the ability to write that referendum with whatever fees we want on it and send it out to the students. And then the students will vote on it, and their approval is the final say.
Senator Frishaw. Senator Dukes.
Do you have a plan to communicate to the student body like how these raising fees will benefit them through this referendum?
Vice President Seeley.
Should we decide to write this referendum and to go this route, I would like to have town halls where we would present what the raises are proposed to be and what those kinds of increases in money for those accounts would do for students. I know Bob Hepler has a great and very detailed plan for what a raise in the rec fee would do for rec sports and for the HPC. Now I don't have that on me, and I would love to bring him in here to talk to you guys so y'all can decide if that's a route y'all want to go. But a town hall with an opening to all students, I think is a good route to get that information out there. So hopefully what we do decide can be passed.
Is there any other discussion?
Point of information. So at this point, if you guys do not, if anybody feels like we should not vote on this yet, it needs to be tabled.
Senator Frishaw.
Motion to amend previous motion and table this until next
Point of information.
wording.
It's just motion to table the motion.
Oh, I missed it. Motion to table the motion.
Until next week.
Yes.
Okay.
You want to table it until next week?
Second.
All right, it's been motioned and seconded to table this discussion until next week. Table the motion until next week. All right. And Senator Frishaw, you know the floor.
We need more information, as the table is coming next week. And I think that also gives us more time to try to bring in other speakers as well, maybe not next week, but this discussion is good discussion, but should be had a little later, once we have more information.
There's no other discussion. Vote. And the motion to vote on is that we will table this discussion or this motion until next week. All those who approve say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed say nay. All those who abstain. That motion has been tabled. Is there any other new business? Josh, do you have any advisor comments for Dr. Patterson?
I think the town halls that Senator Bell mentioned earlier for each of the colleges is a good idea. I think it is a great opportunity for the students who are not able to participate at this meeting or to watch it or go back and watch the recording. It's good to have that set up in each of your areas, and it also helps you get out there and get to know what the issues are out in your respective areas. In regards to the formal, if SGA decides to sponsor this event, I expect a true sponsorship. And what that means is equal involvement as CAP. I don't want SGA just putting their name on the event and not doing anything for the event. And so if SGA is going to sponsor this, I expect there to be active participation from the members, from showing up at the event, but also helping marketing paying for some of the items, setup, and most importantly, cleaning up. Because the more people we have to do that, the quicker it goes. In regards to the space committee, be patient on the space committee. There's a lot of requests out there right now that are to be submitted to the space committee, but a lot of things are kind of on hold right now as we are building a new business building. And right after that, we're going to renovate the arts and sciences building. And so once those two projects are completed, I know that's really going to have a domino effect on a lot of these requests, because it doesn't really make sense to try to find a space and then all of a sudden, we have more space available and then we're moving things around. And so please be patient with that. But I still think it's a good idea to get in front of the committee and address what SGA has been working on these last 2 years. In regards to the fees, I think someone mentioned it. I think the town halls are a great idea to get students there. I think there needs to be more than one. 2 years ago, the administration put that together, and there wasn't a lot of students that showed up for it. And I think that was a good opportunity for the students to know about what if, we did these increases and what they would look like, how it can truly enhance the student experience. And so, I often meet with a lot of students that say, I wish we had this, or I wish we could do this, or I wish there was more of y'all. And, we're stretched pretty thin. And the only way to enhance that student experience for y'all is to address the fees. And so, and I know we're proud to be, that the fees are low and they're affordable, but y'all equally want the best experience possible. And it truly does have a long-lasting impact on your career at UT Tyler and once you're an alum. And so I think this is a good opportunity, and you all need to go out there and ask other students what they think and what they would like to see as far as what they would like to see in better in the university, and if there was a fee increase, what they'd be willing to pay in order to make that experience possible. And that's all I have.
The Space Committee meets on October 2nd. I would suggest you resubmit your requests to Dr. Murray so that you're on the agenda for that. And since you voted to have yourself present at the meeting, you need to let me know that SGA has requested that.
Any announcements? Secretary McDaniel.
Just a couple things. T-shirts, don't forget to give me your little slips of papers. So on the upcoming events, because we haven't really done this before, so I just want to make sure everyone kind of sees that. I put down at the bottom for next week, those for the student voice reports. So make sure you're aware. Student body at large, Eagles Landing, and College of Educational Psychology. Please make sure that you are talking to your constituents. And, oh man, I had one more.
We check the chat.
Yeah. Verification forms. And then Senator Farouk about joining CAB with the formal. Since CAB always does the formal, can we not organize another unique event? That way we would be two separate events. And CAB can do their own thing, but we can do something different now.
CAB's never done a formal before. This is the first time it's ever been done. She just sent a question, so I can email her later.
Just to reiterate what I talked about in my officer report, you were not here last week for the training meeting. Please come see me so that we can get you guys set up with that, so you can know about all the rules and everything and how everything goes, so that you don't get in trouble.
New senators who were sworn in, other than O'Marley, we'll have to get you that electronically. Please come to us or to me to get some forms for y'all. And no other announcements. Secretary McDaniel, review commits third roll.
President Timmerman.
Here.
Vice President Seeley.
Here.
Treasurer McLeod.
Here.
Parliamentarian Hicken.
Here.
Senator Lunsford. Here. Senator Jawad.
Here.
Senator Jobe.
Here.
Senator Parrish. Here. Senator Jacobs. Here. Senator Schwab. Senator Lohr. Senator Hood. Senator Florrick.
Here.
Senator Freshour. Here. Senator Nagarajan. Senator Shaka. Senator Bell.
Here.
Senator Method. Senator John.
Here.
Senator Sweetland, Senator Camarillo, Senator Meek, Senator Robertson, Senator Romero, Senator Adams, Senator Daniel, Senator Dukes, Senator Farouk,
Here.
Senator Jackson, Senator Johnson, Senator Rivera, Senator Catherwood, Senator Golden, Senator Morrison, Senator Mosley, Senator Agudelo, okay. Senator Strong, Senator Copeland, Senator Khalifa.
I have a motion to adjourn. Senator Freshour.
Second.
All those in favor of adjourning, please say aye.
Aye.
All those who oppose, any abstentions? All right, we are adjourned. Totally forgot to do that last time.